Hi everyone, it's November 2nd, 2023, and this is the weekly Backdrop Developers Meeting. We get together every week to talk about development priorities and tasks for Backdrop CMS. My name is Nate Lampton. I'm core committer and project and technical lead on the Backdrop project. I'm known as Quick Sketch on the internet, and I'm calling in from Oakland, California. We're joined here by Tim, Robert, and Luke. Tim, if you have a second, could you do an introduction, and then we'll go on to Robert and Luke.
Sure, I'll hang around for just a minute to introduce myself. I'm Tim Erickson in Deerwood, Minnesota, and nothing special going on. I'm going to step away from the meeting for a minute. I'll be back in a little bit. Bye.
Okay, thanks, Tim. Robert, and then Luke.
I'm Robert Lang, bug folder on the internet, calling in from Altadena, California.
Thanks, Robert. And Luke.
I'm Luke McCormick in San Ramon, California. Do web product management and occasionally programming, that sort of thing. And I'm Cell Ear on various forums.
Okay, well, thanks everybody for being here today. We've gotten off to a late start. We're already half past the hour because we were having a little bit of trouble rustling up some agenda items. And so we don't have a whole lot to talk about this week, but I think it would be great if we at least recapped the things that we discussed last week and checked on progress on those items. So before we get too much further, I will celebrate that we have a new contrib module called Quick Tabs. I think Quick Tabs is actually a very old 777 module, so great to see that coming over into the world of Backdrop as well. That's the only new contrib project that we have this week. Let's see. We were quite honestly doing some gossip before the meeting started, and we were talking about BADCamp, which was 2 weeks from now. Kind of just said it right there. Was 2 weeks from now. We think that it's in the air, but it seems like it might not happen. Luke got some pretty firm confirmation that that's the case, but the website's not updated and it still says see you in November. So I think hold your horses and wait for the official thing. But yeah, if BADCamp does happen, we are planning on being there. And I think that Irina, who is excited about the opportunity to use BADCamp or the hackathon to work on migration code or the D2B module, Drupal to Backdrop module, will be disappointed by this development if it's not going to happen. So I'd still like to at least commit to doing some work on that module, possibly still on the same weekend. So we'll see as things shape up. At least I've already kind of made that my plan for that weekend. So we'll see what happens. All right. Let's see. So last week we talked a little bit about some core process improvements. CSpell in particular is the spell checking library that we're using to spell check all core pull requests. And right after the meeting last week, we went ahead and made a new Backdrop Ops project, Backdrop Ops / CSpell, to hold the spelling dictionary. It looks like it actually hasn't been popped in there quite yet, but we're working on restructuring things to make it so that the spelling dictionary can be managed separately from the core project. And that's set up and now ready for people to pop the updated dictionaries into that external repository, and then we'll update core to actually use the external repository, same as we're doing for coding standards checks. Let's see. I'll mention issue 5541, Doc Wilmot's issue. I shouldn't call it his issue, but he filed a pull request to make it so that SVGs can be uploaded and reused in the image library. That issue 5541 needs some eyeballs on it. It would be really great to get somebody to review that issue because it hasn't been looked at since he filed the pull request a couple weeks ago. Let's see, issue 5090 is Klonos, Gregory's current issue. I think that this is in a similar state. Actually, it looks like, oh no, he updated the pull request. I think this one also needs review. It's marked as needs work, but he did update the pull request, and I don't see any additional feedback that is necessary here. So, oh, setting this to needs work. Never mind. It does actually. He would like review even though it's marked needs work on 5090. Let's see. And CK Editor. So CK Editor has really been where my head has been for the last couple of weeks. CK Editor 5 contrib module is looking really good. We've figured out a lot of the stumbling blocks that were happening with this project. Let's see what's happened in the last week. Recently updated. Let's see. Oh, lots of things. So we improved the linking functionality so that links now, it's a little bit hard to describe, but linking is better. We added a warning to make it so that if CKEditor is going to modify the content just by loading the editor, it attaches, but then it checks if the content has changed, and if it did, then it detaches itself and restores the original content and puts a little warning saying, hey, the content has been changed just by loading the editor, or click here to proceed. So that hopefully will mitigate content loss concerns. The generic HTML support is actually also, or general HTML support is also really excellent. So the content loss problems seem much less likely to occur than they had before. But some changes can still happen. Like it does do some reformatting. Like sometimes if you've got like text like floating outside of a paragraph tag, just out there in the root, it will wrap it in a paragraph tag, for example. So there's still some minor changes, but content loss is a lot less likely. Let's see, and let's see, and we improved the attachment of libraries. These don't sound very big, but the overall functionality of CKEditor is really pretty excellent right now. I'll go ahead and pull up my, since we don't have much else to talk about, I'll share my screen for a minute just to show the general state of things. And I'll just share this editor screen. Here we go. Okay, so so this is with CKEditor 5. I've got it set up here. I've got filtered HTML to be CKEditor 4. So switching between the two, oh, actually, this is a good example here of the warning. So activating CKEditor 5 will reformat the content of this field. And it looks like in this case, I'm not actually sure what the difference is. This is something that could be improved. Like it would be nice if there's a way to see what differences were about to happen, but you click to activate the editor, then you can check source mode. I'm not actually sure what changed there. So let's see, since apparently swapping between, oh, well now it's all the same. Well, anyway, that's the warning. And to demonstrate the reformatting, here's another thing where if I type foo down here at the bottom, that's outside of a paragraph tag, and then go back in. So it's put it in there. I didn't do that quite right for demonstration purposes. If this were raw HTML and it had foo in here at the bottom, and then you swapped to CKEditor 5, then it gives you the warning that it's going to reformat something. So there you go. Or if this content had existed in the database previously, and then I went to go edit this piece of content, then it would have given me the warning as well. And so there's the change that it wraps in a p tag. So that warning. Oh, the link handling. That's what I wanted to show was the changes to the way that works. So Links now, if you click on the link button or hit Command K, it immediately opens up the link dialog. So this is basically the same functionality that you would see from CKEditor 4, where it opens up the backdrop dialog. The changes now are that previously inside of this bubble editor, when you click the edit link, it would allow you to do the modification of the link inside of the bubble. And then you would have to click again to open up the backdrop dialog. We've taken over this edit link button. So instead of doing the inline modification, it now directly opens up the backdrop dialog again. So, but we did keep the bubble because it is still helpful for doing the unlink. And it is also still helpful for doing the preview. Like if you wanted to actually, go to this link or see what it is, then you can use the bubble for that purpose. But when you hit edit, the dialog is now the only way to edit links. So, and it does also work with all of these things. If you put those in there, there's the classes, there's the target equals blank. So all of that is now all properly wired up and part of the link functionality. Same with images. This functionality got a little gnarly, but you can also link images, again, also with their attributes. I'd like this little indicator here saying that the image is linked to let you know that it's linked, but also when you click into it, same sort of thing. It shows you the preview, you hit edit, and then there's the dialog in here. So you can actually link the images, link, as well as standalone things. When you view the source, it's just an image tag wrapped in an A. There's a little bit of some complexity about if you have a caption and a link. There's a little conflict here, but this is like an upstream issue with CKEditor. It's fine now. That's all perfect. But when you go back to edit, this pops up more often than it should. Still working on that. The caption has become linked, and as well as the image. So still working out a few little kinks, but yeah. But overall, we are looking in great shape with CKEditor 5. I was really worried about trying to get CKEditor 5 like ready for use on production sites before the end of life of CKEditor 4, which again is November 22nd. So it's only 3 weeks away for the end of life for Drupal 4 or for Drupal 4 for CKEditor 4. So I'm really trying to get this module ready for maybe not production use, but at least general use, like getting it stable before that date. And I think that we might actually make it. So that's great. That also gives us, if things keep going well, then that gives us a pretty big buffer for getting into the 1.27 release of Backdrop as well, which will come out January 15th. So overall, in really good shape. Luke, Robert, do you guys have any questions or anything you'd like to see while I've got this open?
Looks pretty good.
Yeah, I like the experience. Quite honestly, like it looks good. I like the auto grow. I like the toolbar stickiness. So the toolbar sticks at the top of the text area, so you don't have to like go back up to where it was. Another integration point, we made it so that it doesn't overlap with the admin toolbar. So, this is double floaty. This happens with some other things like sticky tables and stuff like that, but it works properly, that it sticks correctly. Oh, and I like the markdown support, where like if you type an asterisk and then space, then it converts that to a bulleted list. Or if you take something and you put it in backticks, then it makes it a code block, or triple backticks for sorry, this is a code block, single backticks for inline code. Yeah,
That's slick.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There's lots of great things about this. I wonder if I haven't even tried this before, but if I did 1, 2, 3, oh no, it immediately does it. I see that there's like a plain text here. Oh, I see. Here's how you change it. There you go. So I can change this to like PHP. And I don't think there's any syntax highlighting out of the box.
Right, that's some code.
But it does set you up for if you wanted to do syntax highlighting by doing a class on each code block.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that's great. Let's see, what else is nice? I think those are my favorite things. But yeah, great overall. Let's see, images. Yeah, we got the image browser integrated. It does also support like copy paste. So if you like were to take some screenshot or something like that, you can paste in. Oops, image uploading is not enabled for this text format. Huh. I'm surprised that handled that as gracefully as it did. And it just took it right back out. Well, anyway, pasting is supported and uploads into the files directory, but that's not new. That's been in place for a couple months now. So yeah, overall, just looking like we're in really good shape. It is complex. I commented on this last week that integrating with CKEditor 5 is just a lot more difficult than maybe not more than I had expected, but a lot more difficult than CKEditor 4 for sure. But I don't know. I still, I don't even know if I'm still open to like using another editor or not. Like if we changed direction now, I know IndigoZella has also been working on TinyMCE module. But IndigoZella also has been helping tremendously with CKEditor 5 module. So I don't think that she's like highly opinionated either about which direction to go. But I share her reservations that it's like CKEditor 5 is hard to implement. However, I mean, if we can get it to stable, we're in a really good spot here, and the experience is really excellent. So I think I guess what I'm saying is that we've already done the hard work, I hope, and that hopefully it won't be too much further before we're like satisfied with where we are with the editor. I realize that sounds almost like sunk cost, but I don't necessarily think it is. I'm if there ever was a person that is willing to just be like, well, that was a waste of time and throw it out the window, it's me. Because I do that more often than is probably good. But I'm also feel like I'm usually right about when we should throw things out. I've seen lots of teams that aren't comfortable throwing stuff out, and then it's just like 5 years later, and like they've spent $1 billion or something like that. Maybe not 1 billion, but a couple million. Anyway, that's the state of things with CKEditor, looking really great. I think. Let's see. That only took up 20 minutes. We still have 10 more minutes to go, but unless we have any more topics, then we can wrap up.
Well, they just help me clarify. You probably said this earlier. The current status is still all of this work is happening on the contrib module. So when you talk about having it ready, like before certain deadlines, you're just talking about the contrib module still at this stage. Is that correct?
For the November 22nd deadline,
Right.
quote,
Yeah.
deadline
And then
of,
it is the hope then that this goes into core in January, or is that too soon?
yes, that's the hope.
Okay. Excellent.
that it be in core for Backdrop 127. Yeah. And that means that we need to get it into core before January, because January is code freeze.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe that's ambitious. Trying to do something big during the holiday season. But I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know.
I
It's
think
it's
what
just
go ahead.
hard for me to imagine how I can help. I mean, even in terms of testing, it's like I don't even really know. Like, am I supposed to just install it in the site and create content and look for things to break, or
Yeah,
is
that
that
would
the
be
kind of testing you're looking for?
yeah, that would be tremendously helpful. It yeah, that would be tremendously helpful. And I I don't know. I would be curious to see if you can install it on a let's call it a low risk production site, like just to get into the habit
Mhm.
of like using it often, and see if it's stable enough right now for you to use it without any major issues. Because I think it is at that point, but there's probably some things that are just going to be deal breakers, where it's like stuff like that content warning, for example, might pop up more often than it should. And if that's too obnoxious for your users or for you, for it to actually be usable, I'd like to know that.
Okay.
But yeah, there was just a release yesterday, I think. So you can install it through Project Browser or whatnot, or B, and then just use the latest release, and that would be sufficient. You don't necessarily need to use the dev version at this point.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks, Tim. All right. Well, let's wrap up for today. It was a chill day for meetings. Hope everybody is doing well. Happy post Halloween. Happy post Day of the Dead. Really appreciate those holidays and the experiences that they have, that they provide.
Mhm.
So, all right. Well, everybody, take care. I hope you guys have had a great week, and I hope that we'll see you out there on the